Okay, before anything, I'm just gonna admit it right now. I like MILFs. I know it sounds weird, but mothers are actually really attractive. And I started thinking this way, I think back when I was in high school in my grade 10 year. And honestly, what ended up happening in that year that really changed my mind about moms, well, really changed me. What is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome back to another insane story. So today's story, obviously, if you guys read the title, yes, I actually liked my friend's mom. And to be honest, it got to the point where me and her got way too personal. Before I do get into the story, make sure you guys do follow me on Instagram and as well as join the Discord server link down below. Seriously, we're always having fun events, doing giveaways, and on top of that, telling crazy stories like this one on the Discord server. So make sure you guys join in and get the latest updates, and everything's all in the link down below. So just click on it and quit being lazy and a loser that no one likes and just do it right now. Okay, anyways, back to the story. So anyways, my grade 10 year was one of the greatest years of my life. I learned a lot of things in grade 10, and luckily puberty blessed me with a beautiful jawline that could pull most women. I say most because I couldn't pull the blind ones because they were blind, but I don't know, over time when I stopped getting voice cracks, I guess things just became easier. Like seriously, I used to talk like this and it was not worth it. But my jawline made up for it. So I mean, win-win scenario. So back when I was in grade 10, I remember though, I had one thing I always had to do every day, and that was pick up my little sister from daycare. If you guys don't know, I have a little sister. Last episode, you guys were wondering how many siblings I have. Well, I'm going to tell you the truth. I have 4 sisters. Yes, 4 of them. No guys. I'm the only boy in my family. 4 sisters and a mom and a daddy. That sounded really weird. Just mom and dad and 4 sisters. Let's just put it that way. So I remember I had to pick up one of my little sisters from daycare since at the time when I was 16, I was able to drive. So I'd pick her up, put her in the car seat and drive her straight home. And even though I had a sports car and I was picking up my little sister, it was sometimes pretty weird. Don't get me wrong, my parents would do it most of the time, but there would be certain days where I would have to do it. So I remember one time, and I went to go pick up my little sister from daycare. As I was driving down there, I remember seeing a really hot girl, and she was coming out of this really weird car. It was kind of like a box car. I don't know. Have you guys ever seen those cars that are like shaped as like a cube? I have no idea what car company makes those box cars thingies, but it looks gross. But when I saw this woman come out of it, well, I'm not gonna lie. She was super attractive, and in no way was she my age, but you can tell she was like in her late 20s, and she looked really good. I remember when I was looking at her as I was driving by, I couldn't keep my eyes on the road, and I almost got into an accident. Luckily, I didn't because I have those cat-like reflexes driving super Fast and Furious 9 super omega awesomeness by my side. But going on though, I should have been careful. Anyways, I remember I parked the car and I basically started running downstairs to go pick up my little sister from daycare. And when I went down there, I remember I saw this woman that literally was in that square box car thingy that was really attractive. I remember I looked at her and she looked at me, and we both looked at each other with decent eye contact. And then afterwards, I remember I went to go pick up my little sister, and then instantly I see the same woman go into the daycare and pick up her son. At this moment, I was picking up my little sister and she was carrying her son. And basically, I have to like stamp at your kids out of daycare and write a signature. So like, you know, you get like the official initial to leave. And I remember when I signed the paper, she looked at me saying, "Oh, you look awfully young to be a dad." And I remember I looked at her and I couldn't speak. I was going, and I was stuttering to the point where I literally just said, "Yeah, I love my daughter." Super weird thing to say, especially when you're carrying your own sister. But I'm not gonna lie, at the moment, I couldn't think of anything else to say. I remember my little sister looked at me super weird saying, "Huh?" And I just told her, "Shh, shh, shh," as if, you know, I was trying to like make her not say something inappropriate. But then afterwards, she ends up asking me, "Oh, like, so how old is she?" I remember I look at her and my sister kind of like puts up her little fingers and like puts her age down because, you know, it fits in one hand. And I saw her how she said she was 4. So I'm like, 4 years old. She's 4. She's 4 years old. And then I remember afterwards, she ends up looking at me super oddly and saying, "Oh, like my son's like almost 5. So he's going to be going into kindergarten soon." And I remember I just looked at her as if I knew what she was talking about. And basically she asked me for my number. At that point, when she asked me for my number, I'm like, damn, this girl is single. Because obviously, what kind of mother would ask a guy for their number? Like, it just doesn't make sense. And to be honest, it just was a treat to me. So I remember I ended up putting my number down on a piece of paper that the daycare handed out. And basically, I ended up passing it to her. I ended up getting my car and basically walking my little sister all the way to the car and putting her in the car seat. And I remember as I sat down in my car, I saw her drive away in her little cube box car with her son in the back seat going home. Now, at this point, you guys are probably probably thinking, Bubba, what did you just do? Well, you see, this is what you call MILF pulling. I just pulled a MILF. Anyways, after I drove my sister home, I remember I ended up just going on my Xbox and basically just playing video games. That's like the go-to thing that I always did back when I was a kid, so don't feel surprised when I talk about me going on my Xbox, because the amount of comments I get of you guys saying, oh, like Bubba plays his Xbox like in every story. I think this is fake. No, I literally only played Xbox. My whole life back then was doing the Devil's Tango and also my Xbox and making YouTube videos just like this one. That's literally all I did with my life. Anyways, going on with the story though. I got a text message as I was playing Xbox from this mom. She ended up texting me, hey, it's from the daycare. How are you doing? And I remember I just texted her back saying, oh, I'm good. You know, just watching my daughter, feeding her some applesauce. Yeah, I didn't really know what to say. I thought applesauce was like the most like common thing for babies to eat. I don't know. My mom just fed me rice, so I wouldn't know at all. And then afterwards she says, oh, like that's great. I was just wondering, do you want to like maybe like one day have like our kids have a play date? Since they go to the same daycare, I was hoping my son could make some more friends. Yeah, I would love to come by with my daughter, is what I texted her back. And then afterwards, right at that moment, I remember I ended up turning off my Xbox, running upstairs to my little sister's room and telling her, hey, so me and you, we're gonna go to a play date and we're not gonna tell mom and dad. I remember little sister just tilts her head and going, huh? And she gets really confused. But me, I knew what I was doing. I assembled the master plan to go see this hot MILF at her place. So anyways, going on with the story, I remember basically I ended up getting my things the next day, and afterwards I went to school, picked up my little sister, the same routine, and I saw the mom there again. When I saw her there, I remember I said, hey, sugar, so you down for like, you know, later on, just, you know, a little play date with our kids? I remember she looked at me and she's like, oh, you're so funny. Oh, it's so funny how you're a cute dad. And then afterwards she just gets ready and tells me, yeah, so just like come at my place at like this time, but I'll see you there. And she ended up walking away. At that point, I knew I was in. She ended up texting me her address as she was driving away with her little cute car again. And of course, me, I had a date. Well, actually, technically speaking, my little sister had a play date who I pretended for her to be my kid. You know what? I don't know. I didn't really think this through, to be honest. But you know what? Either way, I was going to go out with a hot MILF that had big cherries. I'm not complaining. So I remember later on that day, I basically got ready and stuff, and I ended up taking my little sister out. And I told my parents that I just wanted to hang out with her. My parents found it really odd how I was taking my little sister out because she was 4 and I'm like, what, 16? It didn't really make sense. But you know, she understood what was going on, I guess, somewhat. So she was like, I'm going out with Baba. And she was like cool with it. So anyways, me and her, we ended up going inside the car. I ended up getting her a lollipop so she wouldn't say much. And then afterwards, I ended up basically driving her all the way to this mom's house. When I got there, I remember carrying my little sister as if she was my daughter. And I saw her and, you know, we walked into her place. And one thing led to another. She was in the living room just playing around with her son. And then afterwards, me and the mom, well, she offered me some wine. Now, when a mother drinks wine, you already know part of her life is a crisis or she's already an alcoholic. But you know what? I wasn't saying no. So I remember I ended up drinking some wine. And by the way, don't underage drink, kids. YouTube, don't demonetize this video. And basically, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like, we drank wine for like 10 minutes and then we went upstairs and we ended up doing the Devil's Tango. And as we were, I think my little sister was just playing with her son, just hanging out, watching, I think, Blue's Clues, if I really remember. You know, the dog that goes, because that's all I heard when I was like doing the Devil's Tango. But I don't know. Anyways, I remember after that, I ended up going downstairs as I'm putting on my pants still, buckling up and everything. And I ended up picking up my little sister saying, well, we had a wonderful time. I'll gladly like to see you later on. Maybe we could see each other again, you know? And then afterwards, I ended up leaving. So you guys are probably wondering, wait, so that's it? You just did the Devil's Tango and left? Well, no, things got really bad because let's just say I ended up finding out that her older son went to my school. And yeah, let's just say things got really bad. But you know what? That's a story for another time. Anyways, make sure you guys do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And like I always say, I fall for more embarrassing stories. Peace out, guys.